Tune in to Kinda Smart.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Kinda Smart. I'm your host, Abby Ellis, and this is our special guest, Hunter Pell.
Hey.
Here he is, guys. So, Hunter,
Abby.
we've all been waiting. We've all been waiting to see who our special guest is. The man, the myth, the hunter. Here he is.
I thought you were talking about Frank.
In all of his glory. We are going to interview him today, okay? And he is pretty cool, if I don't say so myself. So, Hunter, why don't you just give us, if this was your first day in 6th grade and they ask you to tell us about you, what are you going to say? Who are you?
Who am I? Wow, that's a great question.
Who are you?
When you get to be this age, you've been so many people, it's kind of hard to figure out. But, my name is Hunter. I have just retired from Fidelity Investments after working there for 20 years. Retired as a managing director in their 401k business. But thankfully, I was able to afford the ability to retire. My wife, Terry, is also retiring this year. Mm-hmm. And we are in the process of expunging ourselves of everything we own, pretty much.
Yeah.
And we'll spend the rest of our days traveling the world. And I'm looking forward to that. So that's a little bit about me. I grew up in Baldwin City, Kansas. My mother, Lynn Pell, probably not enough statues of her in the world to commemorate the patience and love of that woman. I owe her everything.
She is an amazing woman. I will say I've only met her a handful of times, but she is the brightest, sweetest ray of sunshine that you will ever meet.
She is amazing. And I have her to thank literally for everything. If it wasn't for me being raised by her and the way that because am I getting ahead of ourselves? No, my mom raised me and my brother after my father died when I was very, very young. So as a single mother of 2 boys, and being a mother, how challenging that is, imagine doing that on your own with 2 of us from the ages of 3 months and 2 years old.
You know how much milk boys drink? Yes, you do.
I'll get into that, by the way.
Yes.
I'm going to talk about Logan, his friends Trevor and Paul, and
It's just a thing.
oh my God. I'll just talk. Please remind me to talk about the grocery bill.
Yes, I will.
When those 3 boys came
We'll
to
get
my
there.
house.
But your mother is a saint. You
She
are
is.
who you are because of her.
Because of her. And I feel that, I know that, with parents being the biggest influence on their children's lives.
Yeah.
And kind of the template that the child looks to for how they are supposed to live their life.
Yeah.
I could not have had a better mother.
Yeah.
And seriously, she has, without trying to sound like I'm trying to,
Suck up to your mom.
get back into the well or whatever.
Yeah.
Suck up to my
You're
mom.
in the well.
Well, she absolutely is the strongest,
Yeah.
most capable,
Yeah.
F around and find out person I've ever
Well,
met.
like I said, I've only met her a handful of times, and I know that.
She's
I
just
mean,
brilliant.
her husband recently passed. What was
Yeah.
that, 1 or 2 years ago
2
now?
years ago,
2
yeah.
years ago.
2.
And she is just thugging it out.
Dude, Jay was, fuck.
He was amazing
He was
to her.
amazing.
I've met them a handful of times, but her husband was literally an angel to her and she'd say, oh, I need a chair. Let me go get one. He'd say, no way. You stay right there. Don't move. I'm going to get you a chair.
And it wasn't that he put her on a pedestal. He just genuinely wanted
He
to
genuinely
help her.
cared about her
He
and
wasn't-
wanted her life to be easy and wanted
Exactly.
her to be happy.
He was not a cuckolded guy. He was a war veteran, a Marine. I mean, he was harder than a coffin nail. Mm-hmm. And I've seen him stand up eye to eye, toe to toe with guys half his age and twice his size, and just go,
Yeah.
what are we gonna do?
But when it comes to
But
your
when it
woman,
came to my mom, it was just
natural.
natural. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's okay because I was thinking about the interview before we came over, and how do I have a conversation with my daughter-in-law? There's gonna be. That's
Okay,
gonna
are
be
you
on
going
the
to be
internet?
a part of the interview then?
Oh, she has to be.
Okay, sit
All right,
down.
sit. Sit.
Good girl.
I totally forgot where I was going with that.
Your mom, your Jay was very hard,
yeah.
and
Oh, he was. Well, Jay was very. It wasn't that he wanted to. Okay, so I was thinking before I came onto the interview.
Yes.
About the difference between friends, lovers, and spouses.
Mm-hmm.
And there are, well, children, friends, lovers, and spouses. And those are 4 completely different kinds of love that we have for each other, but they're all significant in their own way. At the top of which is, of course, the spousal love. That is the key component, because through that, people like our fine introducer are going to learn how to interact with people,
Yes.
interact with a spouse, interact with
Yes.
somebody they have to spend time with every day. And he was the best example of that. He was the kindest, most thoughtful, most stylish dude. So yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the quilt that was, I think, your mom's sister made
Yeah.
for her.
Yeah.
And it was all of Jay's t-shirts because he collected t-shirts from different bars.
Yeah.
And so her sister made her a quilt of every one of these bar t-shirts, and that's what she sleeps with on her bed every night.
Every
And that's
single
just so beautiful. And from the time that I knew them, the short time, I could just tell that they were so in love, and that just is like hope, you know?
Yeah,
It gives you
no.
hope for sure.
Well, and that's the thing. It takes work.
Yeah, no.
It takes a lot of work.
It does. Marriage takes work. Crazy. Who would have thought?
I know, right?
All right. Well, that's who you are a little bit. A little bit.
Little bit. There's not much about me. I'm 55 years old.
Well, you're retired now. You're about to travel
Retired.
the world.
I'm about
That's
to
going to be
retire.
awesome.
Yeah. We're in the. It's beginning early days. Like I said, my wife has to age out and retire, and then
Very soon.
things will going in earnest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's get into the questions here. June is chewing on her foot, but that's all right.
Just brings
Okay.
a little realism.
Right. We're just relatable here. All right, getting into the questions. Hunter Pell, if you couldn't tell by now, Hunter is my father-in-law. This is my husband's father, okay? Let's just get that clear, if you didn't know. All right. Hunter,
Yes, ma'am.
how many years have you been married? And what is your number one piece of marriage advice?
Wow. Well, I've been married 24 years as of last week.
Okay. Congratulations. Happy
Thank you.
anniversary.
Thank you so much. Our anniversary was the 11th. And the number one piece of advice,
I know it's tough, but if you could
I
only
had to-
give one,
you narrow it down to one. Pick your battles.
what's the pick your battles?
Pick
Yeah.
your battles. And I promise you that hill you're going to die on is not the hill you want to die on. It comes, and I don't know if it's just me, and it probably is, because I know that Logan, my son, her husband, is much better at this than I am. And that's being able to back off and let someone else be right. Or I would say, let them be right if they are more correct.
Okay. That makes sense.
And I have, my wife is easily the smartest person I know. And I mean, without exception. She
Yeah.
is brilliant. There is nothing this chick does not know.
Yeah.
So
I mean, her job says it all.
Oh yeah, I mean, she runs global network stuff for one of the largest financial firms in the country. I mean,
Yeah.
if not the universe. But I mean, if you're having a fight and she is right, she's right.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Don't
it.
let your ego
Don't let your ego stand in the way of
admitting
getting
the truth.
getting past stuff.
Yeah.
Getting past the thing. If now, however, just like everything else, don't back down. If you're right, you're right.
Right. If you have beliefs that you stand on, don't just secede.
Exactly. And that I think that brings up a good point to understand what is right and what is just stuff I'm not a fan of.
Right.
Right. So there are those kinds of things. But
Right.
but when my biggest piece of advice is pick the hill you die on, and I promise you it's probably not going to be the one you think.
Right. If it's going to be a fight that's making an impact on your marriage, maybe make sure it's something that's extremely important.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Terry and I have had some, 24 years. We've had some big stuff. Furniture's been broken. Glasses have been broken.
Oh yeah.
Doors have been broken.
Yeah.
Mostly
Happens.
by me. No, actually, always by me. But the trick to that whole thing is just get out of your head and say,
A big picture.
this is all that ever will be for you, for me. Your experiences in your life is all the universe is ever going to be. Why make it hard?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's very true. That's a good point. Why make it hard? So yeah, choose your battles. I think that's a good one. Because definitely Logan and I mean, we bicker obviously back and forth. We don't argue a lot at all. But
Well, that's sad.
I mean,
I'm just kidding. Like, oh man, I picked a kid who's gonna just roll over and let his wife win all the fights.
no, he definitely does not let
No,
me
that
win
would
all
not-
the fights.
that would not
But
make him.
say, for instance, this past week, I have been very non-empathetic. Okay? It is just that phase of the month. We weren't expecting it, but here it is. I'm angry. I hate everything he says, everything he does, everything he asks is stupid, okay? I know that's horrible. You're gonna say, "Oh my God, what blah blah blah. This is why men hate women." Blah blah blah. Screw you.
However,
Have a period, brother. Tell me how it feels.
well, the true sign of a man, and especially of a husband, is how he reacted.
Exactly.
To that.
So he took it very well. He did lay down the law a couple times and say, "Hey, you're out of line." And I, accepted that. But, once I realized what was happening, I said, "You know what? I'm so sorry about this past week. I know what it is. And I can give you a 5-minute long apology. Do you want it? Or should we just act like it didn't happen?" And he's like, "Just act like it didn't happen. I know. I get it. I know you're sorry." I'm like, "Okay, thank you. I love you." Woo! Because wow, I was evil.
He is, yeah.
So he's a great guy. That's how they should be, because
I have a feeling that a lot of this interview is just going to digress into talking about him.
well, let's not, because guess what? He's out of town. So I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
good.
He's
So
working
the
for
cat's away.
the money, right? That's what we need. I'm supporting him. Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be sad that he's gone. The trash can is filled to the brim, you
That
guys.
is so true, by the way.
I would show you,
so
but
true.
it's embarrassing at this
That
point.
is so true.
Hunter, you're going to have to take the trash out before you leave. I'm sorry.
I will.
Okay, next question. Okay, so tell us just a smidge about like your family, as in like your family in your home, like kids,
okay.
wife. Give us a little bit of breakdown about what that looks like. Who's who?
All right.
Who
well,
you got?
My wife, Terry, had 2 sons before I married her. So there's JT, the older one, and Alex, the younger one, and then Logan is right in the middle. And there's really only 18 months separating the youngest from the oldest. So JT and Logan are
Very close.
very close. Well, Alex and Logan are much closer in age, but JT and Logan are also very close in age.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like boom, boom, boom. So for those of you who don't know, I have a very, very mixed blended family. My wife is very white, red-haired, blue-eyed, 5 foot tall, absolutely adorable. Of course, there's me.
Gorgeous.
Then there's, thank you.
She's got beautiful hair.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Oh my God. No, Terry.
Oh,
Terry is gorgeous.
I know. Yeah, and she is. And she is. I mean, I do have standards. But then there's Alex, the youngest one. We'll start from the bottom up. So Alex is redheaded, blue-eyed like his mom.
Yeah.
Very redheaded.
Yeah. Pure.
Like his mom. Oh, pure. Blue-eyed. His father is black, though. Go figure.
You know what? Logan did tell me that.
Yeah,
That's crazy because
his father is black.
his skin is almost albino.
I know, and he's got very
freckles,
bright blue eyes,
ginger.
bright red hair. His beard coming in very red.
That's crazy.
So yeah, and his dad is black, but apparently he has aunts, uncles, and cousins who are also redheaded
okay.
as well. So I don't know. And then there's Logan,
Yep.
who looks like this, but with much better hair and a much
lot more
better beard
hair.
and a lot better everything. That kid laughed at me when he was in like high school. And then there's JT, whose father is also black and is much darker complected than Alex is. So when we would go to the mall as a family,
Yeah.
and all the kids ran up and called me dad all at the same time.
A ginger, a little
Yeah,
mixed
a little
boy, and a little
and then-
Italian boy.
and then that kid, and everybody just kind of stopped like dead in their tracks, like they're looking for cameras, like somebody's punking them or
You're
whatever.
like, are you
And then my
abducting
wife-
these children?
Well, exactly. I thought I was like running a human trafficking ring. Or something.
Yeah.
And then my wife walks up and says, "Hi, honey," blah blah blah, and they think that it's Logan's mom. Of course, but yeah, no.
Yeah, it's
So, yeah.
confusing, but
So the boys are now. JT is in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And he is 31.
yep, and he was a Marine.
He was in the Navy.
Navy.
He was in the Navy. He
Sorry,
was
I don't know my
submariner in
military
the Navy.
groups.
You're a girl. It's fine. You're free.
I'm just a girl.
Now, if I would have said that, I would have been shot.
Oh yeah.
Just outright
He was in
shot.
the Navy.
He was in the
He
Navy.
lived in a submarine.
He lived in a submarine, and then he got out a couple of years ago and moved to Minnesota. And then
Recently?
there's Logan. We won't even talk about him. I mean,
Who's he?
I don't know. I lost a bet or something. And then there's Alex. He's the youngest. He's turning 30 this year. And
Logan just turned 30, so Alex is now.
Alex is about to turn 30 in May.
Okay.
Yep. And Alex and his girlfriend Crystal are amazing together. They've been
Yeah.
together I think they've been together for 10 years.
A
now.
long time, huh? A long, long time.
Yep. And then there's Cheddar and their big dog Parker and their
Yep.
cat and their snake.
Yeah, Alex and Crystal have a big dog named Parker. He's a German Shepherd and.
He's a German Shepherd all the way. And they have a cat named.
No, I thought
Kuba.
he was a mix of a
Oh,
giant.
Oh, I don't know, but if he's not a German Shepherd, he stands at least
Okay,
that tall at the shoulder. He's huge.
Don't quote me, but I thought
He's-
Crystal said he was German Shepherd and Akita.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay,
Because
because
dog
this
is
German Shepherd is,
monstrous.
I can't even,
And the
100
biggest.
125, 130 pounds.
Oh, at least.
Minimum?
At least. I mean, he's just
Giant.
this big, huge thing.
So sweet, though. The gentlest.
He's the biggest baby I have ever seen.
So sweet.
Big baby. I
But-
love him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the house. And it's insane because when Logan and JT and Alex and me and my wife and the kids across the street, how can you not have Trevor and Paul on the podcast?
Exactly. I'm going to.
So Trevor and Paul, this many children all growing up in their adolescence, my grocery bill, y'all, And this is back in.
So let me explain. Let me break this down a bit for you. So they lived in Irving, okay? So Logan and JT and Alex lived in the house, obviously with Hunter and Terry. Couple doors down, 2 doors down? 2 or 3 is Paul?
Right next door, and then right across the street.
Okay, so right next door is Paul, and he's the same age, about.
Yeah,
He was homeschooled.
Well, he's a little older, but that was a good thing and a bad thing.
Because he was home. I'm just kidding. I love you, Paul.
No, that was because he was.
We love you, Paul. We love you so much. But you got along great with the.
To be honest, I did not know he was homeschooled until after Logan and you got married.
Until he was married, probably, yeah.
Until he was married. Well, it was after he was married. I never knew he was homeschooled.
Yeah, well, but they got along great. So Paul was next door, around the same age. They were great friends. And then right across the street is Trevor. And Trevor lived with his parents and his sister Audrey, who's a little bit older. But Logan, JT, kind of Alex mostly, and Trevor and Paul were like best friends, right? So they always got into who knows what.
Everything.
But
together.
That's the background of that.
Yep. So that's the house that your husband grew up in. It was very chaotic.
Yeah, I've heard.
It was extremely chaotic.
With 3 boys, again, how much milk did you have?
No, 5 boys. 5
Well,
boys.
yeah, because Paul and Trevor would come in and out.
Oh, no. The door
leisure.
I haven't locked the door of my house in at least 25 years.
Yeah.
Because there's not enough time to lock it. The door is open, it is shut. It is open, it is shut. There's some kid.
Someone's coming back.
Yeah, it's either JT, Logan, Paul, Trevor, or Alex running in and out all day. They come in, eat everything, and then
leave.
Split.
By 10 p.m.
Oh, yeah. I would buy a gallon of milk for each boy and a box of cereal for each boy for breakfast every day. I'm not kidding. They would eat a bowl of cereal, well, a half gallon of milk for each kid. I would buy a gallon, and it would go for basically a kid and a half.
Okay.
So.
A lot of milk. I don't know what it is. Milk is a thing for growing boys.
It would just, yeah. I don't know.
They
I don't
love
know if
it.
it's got to be something in our DNA.
They love it.
Well, and it's.
My brother, too, he would drink a gallon of milk a day in high school. I'm like.
Yeah.
What is the obsession?
I don't know.
Hate milk.
I don't know. Oh, man. Come on. And it's got to be whole milk. It can't be that watered down 2% skim milk crap.
I am lactose, so cheese is my only exception.
Now,
really.
Logan's papa would drink like heavy cream.
Ooh, I
like
believe it.
all the
He's
time.
Italian, so.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
He was a fantastic guy. But yeah, no, I don't know. Milk, cereal, and hot dogs. Dude.
Hot dogs were a thing.
The hot dogs those kids would eat would be
Hot
crazy.
dogs and SpaghettiOs in the 90s was supreme kid lunch.
The nostalgia.
I used to eat hot dog. This is disgusting. I'm so ashamed to say this, but I feel like it needs to be put out.
You know, this is going in front of like the entire world.
It's fine. They'll be fine.
So dish about your love of hot dogs.
When I was a child, so background, a smidge. My mom worked all day. My dad was a truck driver, so he drove all night. So my dad would watch us during the day, right? But he was asleep the whole time, obviously, because he was driving all night. So no one was really making us too much food. So I would go in the fridge, and we always had hot dogs, yeah? So I would go and slip a cold hot dog out of the pack and just munch.
You know,
And it did have a little bit of a film, but I liked it at the time. And now
when you turn the light just right, the sheen looked kind of green. It was great. It's this oil slick on my hot dog.
Goodness, yeah.
No, I'm serious. Cold hot dogs, ramen, bologna,
Yeah, bologna was a thing.
bologna, peanut butter and banana sandwiches.
Yep.
Now I have to say, as a kid of the late '70s, early '80s, and because if you couldn't tell I'm going to talk about being a latchkey kid.
Okay.
Because my mother had to go to school and work and raise two degenerate children. Most of that was my brother, but no, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No, most of
We'll
it,
blame it on him.
100% of it was me.
Okay.
I was the degenerate. No, but as a child who has to figure out stuff the way that children do,
Yeah.
like mom's at work, dad's asleep. I don't want to wake up dad. I'm gonna make some food.
Yeah.
I know how to make a hot dog.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna have.
Yeah.
So, and my mom would either be going to college or going to work. She was my mom was my own substitute teacher. Could you imagine?
She was your sub at school.
My mom was my substitute in junior high, in
Yeah.
middle school. You're like 13, 14 years old, and here's your mom trying to teach English, and here you are in the back of the class trying to bury yourself under your desk.
I mean, honestly, with my personal mom, yes, I would probably have been embarrassed. Sorry, Mom. You're cool and all.
I love you.
I love you.
I love
but
you, Amy.
yes, I would have been ashamed.
Oh, yeah, just mortified. Mortified. Not only do I have like acne from hell because I'm in junior high.
Same.
And I'm literally 110 pounds at 6 foot
Totally
tall.
insecure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was, and then have your mom come in and like intentionally ask you questions that you
And
you
be
didn't
goofy and hip.
She's trying to be cool. I love
Yeah.
you, Mom.
I love you.
Okay. I have a confession to make. My mom. I love my mother. You know this. She is the light in my world. I love my mom, and if it was not for her,
Nothing.
I would be dead.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna talk some crap about my mom for a second because I had to do tech support with a 77-year-old for about half an hour before I came up here today.
Oh,
Ergo the wine.
okay. Yeah. That's probably a common thing for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, since my brother can't do it now,
Yeah.
and I have a feeling. So my brother set up my mom with the internet. Mm-hmm. And then my brother had the bad form of passing away and leaving me to be the person to deal with my mother. And
How dare him?
Well, I know, but he was like the chief information officer for like a community college district. He was like very smart, very
Capable of this job.
the more I think about it, I'm the least capable person in my family. My brother was a CIO. My mom was a teacher, an insurance agent, and a brilliant person. Mm-hmm. I come from a long line of teachers. My grandmother was a nurse. My grandfather was an electrical engineer. I'm an idiot.
Oh, come on.
Oh, compared to those people? Compared to Logan? No, I have a feeling that I'm probably the least accomplished person in my family.
Okay, well that's
I'm
a little
just kidding.
harsh.
No. Not to say that we haven't done well. I mean,
Right,
we're
you're
okay.
retiring at this age and you're about to travel the world. Like, who's to say that's not
Oh, yeah.
exactly what life is supposed to be,
Well, that's the thing. I always say, who's to say? Okay, I was in St. Patrick's Day weekend down in Houston with a friend of mine. Mm-hmm. Chris, if you're watching, just. But I was talking with somebody at the bar who said they were like, I want to say adult performer. They have an OnlyFans page or something.
Okay, they had OnlyFans.
And
Sure.
looked at me like, you gonna say something about that? You gonna
Got something to say.
tell me
Judge?
I'm a bad? Tell me I'm a exactly. And I was the first one to say who's to say I did the right thing? Who's to say I did it the right way?
Right.
I don't think that the people who do that kind of stuff are any better or any worse than anybody else who's just trying to make a living.
Right.
I swear,
I mean, that and anything else, no matter what you do. I don't
whatever
care
it is.
what you do, as long as you're freaking trying.
Well, the people who
Good
I
for
think,
you.
no, absolutely, and I think the people who have the most problem with that kind of stuff are the people who couldn't do it if they wanted to,
Right. Exactly.
and they're jealous.
Yeah.
They're basically throwing their insecurity on you. So, everybody out there,
If you feel bad about that stuff,
keep doing what you're doing, and if it bothers you, then don't watch it.
then don't watch it and don't worry about it. Your husband's gonna watch it, and I'm just kidding. But really,
we're gonna watch it.
but really, I mean, everyone needs to make money somehow, some way. I mean, it is what it is. At least they're trying. At least they're not giving up, you know?
And I think that's something. It's the not giving up. It's like, I've got this. I can do it.
Well, and especially with that specific thing, I think girls that do that type of thing, sex work, any type of sex work, I mean, the thought process behind that is literally, I have the, what's the word? I have everything it takes. Why not use it while I can and monetize it?
Sure.
And rather than be 50 years old and be like, okay, dang, I didn't get to retire on time. I'm still working. If I would have done OnlyFans when I was 20, I would be retired by now. Like, I mean,
okay, so I came from the finance world. I understand investing for the future. And what everybody thinks is these people who do this stuff, you know, whatever they want to call them, cam girls or OnlyFans, whatever.
Right.
You think that they're just taking that and they're blowing the money on booze and clubbing and drugs and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
No.
They're investing.
They're investing it. They're opening up their own SEP IRAs or their own investment accounts, and they're
buying
saving
properties
for the future because they understand, and I want all y'all to understand, nobody's going to come save you.
Well, and
if you don't take care of
especially
yourself.
always, this has always been a thing, but especially right now, as a woman in this time, independence is your power. That's your only power in this world, is being an independent woman. Because if you depend on a man at this moment in your life fully, then we gotta get a job at Trader Joe's or something, because I don't like.
Well, but your rights are being eroded so much by the day.
Exactly. As much as we love our husbands, as much as everything, whatever. I don't know. It's so crazy right now that you should get everything you can while you can.
I agree, because it's going the way of the. Sad thing is kind of like Stepford Wives meets the. What is that thing with the
Handmaid's Tale?
The Handmaid's Tale. Yeah, that's where it's going.
Literally.
That's where it's going.
But we don't talk about politics as of this moment. Probably for the next few years.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying anything political. It's just the way.
No, I know, but we're edging the surface. So
true.
Moving on, we talked about family.
Okay.
What's your funniest story about your kids growing up?
Man,
All in the same house, all three boys.
it's probably going to have to be how they all got their Indian names.
Okay.
Because Logan's Indian names is Tex from toilet.
I do know this story. I was also thinking about the Walmart story.
Well, you're going to have to be a bit more specific.
Some graffiti on the wall, Alex. And he said, "What do you think this is, fucking Walmart?"
Oh, God. Oh, yes. Okay. So, oh, man.
That's Logan's funniest.
Alex had a girlfriend when he was in high school.
So Alex is the youngest, correct?
Alex is the youngest.
Yes.
Yeah. Alex had a girlfriend, and his girlfriend did him pretty wrong. And Alex did not take it well. And Alex was the only child in the house who had his own room
Okay.
at the time. And he gets a can of black paint and a paintbrush, like maybe a 2-inch brush, and paints on his walls in his room. I mean, every wall. If he could have reached the ceiling, he would have painted on the ceiling too. But he wrote the most disjointed, rambling stream of hatred about this chick that I have ever seen. And I mean, it's just, if you ever seen a movie where you go into a serial killer's lair and there's all these drawings of crazy stuff and scribbling on the walls,
That's basically.
that's what it was. I lost my mind
Oh, yeah.
when I walked in and 5-6 inch tall letters on every single square inch of every wall. He was writing out his hatred. And I asked him what I was expected to do with all of this stuff. And he goes, well, just, I was like, what do you want me to do? Go get a new wall? Do you think that's what Walmart sells, are new walls? And apparently
You
Logan
think
thought
that
was-
what fucking Walmart means? They just sell walls?
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
That's Logan's funniest as from his memory.
Oh, and when I talk about how it looked like a serial killer wrote it, so our oldest boy, JT, and his girlfriend, Priscilla, he sent Priscilla into the room for something. I don't know why. And she turned on the light and saw all that stuff on the walls and screamed
Oh
so
my gosh.
loud that I ran from the back of the house over because I thought she had gotten stabbed. She literally thought we were a family full of
She's like, what is
serial
happening?
killers.
I gotta get out.
Oh, I asked her if she liked how I decorated the room.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know what I would do.
She did not take it very well. And then we had to explain very calmly to her that that's a very old thing. It's not like that anymore, but yeah, it was. I mean, if you walked into, say, Logan's office and found a bunch of
Or
pins,
Devin's room.
or
yeah.
Devin's room and found a bunch of words written on the walls and strings and pins with different.
Yeah, I will say, remember back to my dad was a truck driver. He slept all day while my mom was at work. So during the summer, before I was in kindergarten, my brother was home for the summer. We were chilling, hanging out. And Dad was asleep, obviously, and we were bored. We found some Sharpies, some thick Sharpies, some king size.
How many dicks you draw on Dad's face?
Well, nothing on Dad, surprisingly. We didn't want to wake him up because we had some big plans going. We decided to outline everything in the apartment. All the light switches, the dishwasher, the cabinets, the whatever, the couch. We outlined everything in king size Sharpie. And then we decided, let's draw some pictures. I remember specifically a cowboy with a lasso. But yeah, then my dad woke up. Obviously, he screamed at us for a second, but then I think it set in like, oh shit, my mom's about to be home in like a couple hours.
And he was supposed to be supervising.
And he was supposed to be watching us. And how are you going to explain a whole apartment covered in Sharpie? So he stopped yelling at us pretty quick and got to the maintenance office, got a can of white paint, started painting. Obviously, my mom was pissed.
Well,
but
what else you gonna do? I mean, that's what you know.
We actually didn't get in trouble for that one, believe it or not. I mean,
Well,
we got away with a lot of. We
How
lit
old
our
did
bunk.
you say you were? Like 6 or 7?
I was like 4.
4?
My brother and I also lit our bunk bed on fire.
Like you do.
Right. I found a lighter and was like, hey.
Alex lit an entire fence on fire.
Exactly. That's what kids do.
Oh,
I
yeah.
said, hey, Ben, what does this do? What is this? And he said, let me show you. We got to find somewhere dark. Under the bed is perfect. That little fiberglass sheet under the old bunk beds, in flames immediately. We tried to wake up my dad. He's not waking up. The alarm's going off. We're like, wake up. There's a fire.
No, you should have used Sharpies. He would have woken right up then.
Man.
That reminds
Stuck
me
a
of it.
Sharpie in his nose.
That reminds me of a very, very funny story about your husband, by the way. It was like 5 o'clock on a Saturday morning. This was when his mother and I were still married.
Okay.
And the TV is blaring. And I mean, it's maxed out. It's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Bolt out of bed. I run out into the living room. Everything is covered in country crock and squeezed jelly. Everything about this high.
Oh my gosh.
All the way
Grape
around the
jelly.
apartment. The TV, the fridge is standing wide open, and Logan is sitting in front of the television. The TV is covered in squeezed jelly and country crock. And Logan is sitting there in his loaded diaper. He's maybe 2. Just got his one arm elbow deep in a tub of country crock. The other one just chugging squeezed Welch's jelly like he's a frat boy on spring break. And just eating country crock and drinking jelly and thinking he made breakfast.
Tub of butter.
How do you get mad at a little 2-year-old for making himself breakfast? I just turned
Butter
the
and
volume down.
jelly.
I turned the volume down, closed the fridge, and went back to bed.
Yeah, you're like,
was.
all
I'm
right.
not gonna deal with
You're
that.
already, everything's already
fine.
covered in butter. Like,
Oh, he's covered in butter and
we'll
jelly.
give it a minute.
His diaper is covered in butter and jelly. Dude, it was astonishing. I didn't know that there was that much butter in a tub of country crock.
Oh my gosh. No, my worst moment comparable to that was Devin was, barely had like 4 teeth. And I was in some relationship turmoil.
That's never happened to me.
Whole story. I was from states. It was, don't even worry about it. It was worst circumstances you could imagine. Okay.
Oh.
So I was sleeping in my best friend's bed. Devin was in a pack and play next to me sleeping. I had fell asleep that night with a plate of pizza rolls on the bedside table. I woke up to the sound of, I'm like, what is that? And I look over in Devin's pack and play. She's sucking out the juices of the pizza rolls. I was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. She
What?
barely had teeth. She was sucking out the sauce of the old pizza. I'm like, oh my God, what
Hey.
have I done?
No, you've introduced the love of pizza, which we also had for dinner.
Oh, yeah, that was the lowest point, but we've gone way up from there, right?
Oh yeah. Baby. Way up.
But yeah, no, there's definitely,
Anybody who's going to tell you that
Gets
they have
rough.
not had any struggles in life
they're wrong.
I've met some people who have legitimately been kept in such a little bubble that they don't understand true hardship. I
No,
mean,
yeah,
like,
for sure.
like true hardship.
Yeah.
Like needing to,
I feel like that's a lot of people I know.
yeah. But I know a lot of people who have never had to, I mean,
I feel like
they've never had to worry.
Right. And it just, I guess it kind of, I was going to say unfortunately, but it's not, because it just makes sense. It's natural that the people that I'm closest to, the people that my husband are closest to, probably the people that you're closest to, have also been through hardships.
Right.
Yes, you're probably friends with people who have never experienced hardships and they're great people, blah, blah, blah. But the people that you're closest to that you can actually connect to, yes, they have culture and they have been places and experienced things in different walks of life rather than the one that they happen to grow up in.
Well, yeah, and I think that exposure to that, the difference,
Yeah.
is what
It's huge in life.
what makes us better people.
It is.
Well, I can't remember. I think it was Mark Twain who said that travel is a cure for racism, and I know that to be true.
Yeah.
I know that to be true.
Yeah.
People are. I've been to a fair amount of places in the world. I'm going to go to a fair amount more.
Right.
And the one thing I took away is just like everybody's people are people.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. What
Everyone is the same. We're all the
we're
same.
all exactly the same.
Literally.
I don't understand why everybody gets so hung up on differences, because we're all literally the same.
Yeah. I agree.
Culturally, yes, things are very, very, very different.
Right. And we have different opinions.
Things are very, very different.
Yes. That's all right. That's just part of the aesthetic. All right, guys, we're back here. You didn't know we were gone, but here we are. I have wine all over my
But
pants.
no wine was injured in the making of this film.
Don't even worry. don't even worry about it. I'm going to just put that over there. All right, couple questions left for you, Hunter. Let's see. So we kind of touched on how you're retired. You're planning on traveling the world. Okay, just let's talk about that. That's awesome. Who doesn't want to do that? How old are you? 50.
I'm 55.
5.
Yeah.
What? You're
Yeah,
retiring at 55.
Yeah.
Goals.
Yeah.
And now we're waiting for your wife to retire in less than a year.
Yeah, she's retiring in December of this year.
Yep. And then once she does that, you're selling the house.
We're going to put it in a trust, and your husband's going to manage it.
We're going to figure that out, whatever it is.
Yep.
And so you're getting rid of the house. It's no longer
Pretty much.
no longer a
Everything.
worry.
No.
And then how are you going to travel the world?
So I have a trailer,
Okay.
camper kind of thing.
I have
but
not
it's
seen this.
Not really in a traditional camper. It's an off-road, fully off-grid thing. Apparently, this is the story I was told. I don't know if it's true. It was made by Conqueror Caravans or whatever they're called. But Conqueror is the company. And the story I was told, and I haven't had the time to research it nor the interest.
Okay.
Fair.
Fair.
That they were contracted to make mobile kind of command units for the South African Defense Force, like the South African Army.
Okay.
So they'd roll these things up, they'd set them up, and they'd have like computer banks and telemetry and all kinds of battlefield awareness or whatever.
Okay.
They make a civilian version of that, which is what I bought. And we're going to take that around the country up into Canada, and then we're going to head down into Mexico, Guatemala. We're going to basically head all the way down to Patagonia, and then probably head from there over to probably Thailand or Vietnam first.
But just kind of playing it by ear, right?
Or North Africa.
Are you just like stopping until you feel like
we're
you're
just
done?
We kind of joke that we're gonna travel the world to find the most beautiful place to die.
Right. I
But-
mean, that's honestly goals.
No, but that's been our plan for years. We've been working on this plan for at least a year and a half.
Yeah.
Almost 2
No, I
years
feel
now.
like longer since I've known you. I feel
Yeah.
like
We've been
a long time.
planning this, and it's a lot. There's a lot we have to do. There's a lot we still have to do. I'm in the process now of kind of divesting ourselves of all of our crap.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard.
Yeah, for a couple of reasons. One, guys, nobody wants to buy your stuff.
Not
They
really.
have their own stuff. They don't want your stuff.
Yeah.
I've been trying to sell a drawer. A bookshelf for like 6 weeks.
What kind of
And
bookshelf?
it's actually it's a piece of junk, but I'm trying to sell it for like $30. Anybody needs it. It took me.
Yeah.
It took
No,
me
it's
4
hard.
weeks. It took me 4 weeks to sell a dresser
Yeah.
for $20. A dresser for $20. It took me 4 weeks to finally find somebody to buy it, to put it in his shop because he wanted to put tools in it for $20. So
I mean, that's a deal.
getting rid of stuff, Logan, you're just gonna have to understand, honey. There's gonna be stuff in that house when we leave,
Yeah.
and I mean, a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, you know what? My brother works at a storage facility, and you know what we could do? We could put all of it in his storage, and they do auctions, monthly auctions. So no one knows what's in the unit. They just have to take a look from the outside and auction it off by price.
Can I set the base price, like starting at 1,000?
Yeah.
Because, honey, I've got furniture. I have.
We'll see what we can do. I'm pretty good at re-flipping stuff, so I'll see what I can do. But
I'm gonna need. Okay, so
worst comes to worst,
you have a
auction.
platform, so everybody go to Facebook Marketplace, buy my stuff. It's under Hunter Pell.
I'll link it. I'll link his Facebook.
Link my Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. But yeah, no, we'll figure it out because moving out of the country, basically, that's what you're doing.
There's a lot to do. I mean, you have to have a residential address, and you also have to have like physical address. So there's where your mail goes, and then where you're domiciled, where you're registered to live.
Okay. Because
And
they don't have necessarily mail to every house there.
well, it's not that I won't have a house, and I
Oh,
will
yeah,
still
yeah,
have
yeah,
to.
duh.
I'll still have to do the census. I'll still have to vote. I'll still have
Yeah.
things
To
that
have an address
have to-
somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. So you have to. I'll have to have set up a mail service. I'll have to do all. I mean, there's a lot to it.
A lot.
There's a lot to it. But thankfully, there are companies now that help you with that kind of thing. There's a company
Oh,
just
cool.
outside of, I think it's outside of Austin, that has attorneys and other stuff to help you with immigration and all of the domiciliary
Documentation and yeah.
But yeah, we're going to spend the rest of our lives doing the nomadic thing.
That's awesome.
I can't wait.
After working for how many years?
Well, since I was 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And that's just how it goes now.
Yep.
I mean, I worked since I was 16 and I'm not even
Yeah. Well, that's the
30
thing.
yet.
Well, you have another, 25 something years to go.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Hopefully by 55, I'm
Well,
ready to retire.
I was
mean,
able to do that because my company allowed
right.
me to do that. But
And you stuck with
and-
that company forever.
Well, I did, and it was fine.
Yeah.
But it got bad quick.
Yeah.
Or it was always bad.
I mean, I feel like that's any job though. I mean,
Yeah.
really, unless you're just like following your passion completely, which you have to be really lucky.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up because I missed my calling.
Yeah.
My calling was to be a house husband. No, I'm not kidding. I have never been happier than after I got a chance to be a house husband.
Really?
Yeah, and I never thought I would love it. I really enjoy the keeping a home.
Wow.
I really do.
That's awesome.
And ever since I was like 2 years old, my mom brought my brother home from the hospital. I knew I wanted to be a father.
Yeah.
That I
You're
knew.
like, this is fun.
That I knew. I was going to be a dad.
Yeah.
And that was going to be it for me. That was going to be my job. But that kind of changed into, I'm telling you, I love to cook. I love to keep a tidy house.
Yeah.
Even though my wife has other ideas and my kids.
Yeah.
The dog. But I enjoy, now, as much as I enjoy, I've hated every job I've ever had. I'm
Yeah.
not cut out to be a worker bee.
I feel you.
I'm just not.
I feel
I'm
ya.
just not.
I'm not cut out to work either.
I'm not that guy. I want to be a homemaker. Is that wrong?
No, not at all. It's
Because-
not wrong at all. I mean, someone's got to do it, right?
I mean, Terry comes home from work.
At least you're willing. A
It's
lot of
not- It's not a matter
homemakers.
of willing. I have to do it. It's
Yeah.
not a matter of want. It's a matter of must.
Yeah.
And I just love being a house husband. There was nothing I would have loved more after Logan was born than
To just stay
be
home with him
with
and
him
not daycare.
and be a stay-at-home dad.
Yeah. I'm glad I got to do that with Devin for a long time, for sure.
She'll remember.
I couldn't do it any other. Like, I literally could not have put her in daycare at 6 months old.
It's so hard to do. It really is.
Even when I put her, maybe it was like a year and a half, 2 years when I put her in daycare.
Yeah.
I was still like, oh,
know,
it was
it's
hard.
it's like-
so hard.
Would it be like sending your best friend off, like to
To
go
war.
To go to dinner or watch a movie with like your boyfriend or girlfriend? Kind of like one of those things you're always wondering, like,
Are they gonna?
what's going on? No, and it's not. Of course, obviously, it's not the same thing. But it's always going on in the back of your mind, like, what are they doing?
Are they
What's
getting
going on?
hurt? Are
Yeah,
they
exactly.
getting beat by the teacher?
Exactly.
Like, we don't know. Are
I
they
had-
eating?
This is going to give you a little bit of a difference between things that went on in school when I was in kindergarten, things that went on in school when you were in kindergarten.
Yeah.
I had a kindergarten teacher named Mrs. Horn, and I hope she's rotten in hell. I really do. Because she was staying on as a teacher long enough to teach her grandson or her great-grandson. I can't remember which one.
Okay.
But
That's a long
Mrs.
time.
Horn was the most abusive, meanest. I saw her grab my best friend by the chin and shake his head because he touched the wall. She would grab him by both shoulders and shake him basically until his neck broke.
Oh.
Just because they did something
That she
stupid.
said not to.
Oh, one thing she said is, you always color this way. Don't ever color this way. If she ever caught you coloring this way, she would hit you, slap you, take your crayons away, and literally throw them at you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, she was a piece of work. So, if I, yeah, teachers, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So understanding where children are is.
Yeah. I mean, apparently it just gets better and better because you were beat.
It does.
My kindergarten was in a trailer somehow. My classroom was a trailer. Cafeteria was a trailer.
Yeah.
You know.
No, I believe that. No, you see all these outbuildings built into schools and stuff, and
So, but yeah, I'm so grateful. And now my daughter's elementary school is right around the corner from us. I can hear them playing from my backyard at recess. It's amazing. If I'm ever like, whoa, I have a weird feeling, I can literally walk by the school, drive by the school, like.
But the first time you send your kid away, it's
Oh yeah,
there's-
first day
there's-
of school, I cried all day, 7 hours.
I cried as much as Logan did.
Yeah. No,
Now-
I cried more than she did.
Now Logan, at the end of the whole thing, he was the band director for the daycare. Everything was fine. He didn't want to go home. But the first couple times, yeah, leaving your kid
It's hard.
it's very hard.
It's hard.
It's very hard.
So what's your your best piece of parenting advice? Just short and sweet.
Short and sweet. Remember what you did as a kid,
Remember how you felt?
and remember that you're okay. You're fine. You did stuff worse than that before. They're going to be fine, and they're going to screw up. That's how we learn. This is how we develop a sense of self, how we just develop a sense of morals, how we develop a sense of right and wrong, and understanding what our limits are and how they are pushed.
Yeah.
And as adults, we always talk about, we have to push our limits. We have to keep striving for that next thing.
The best, yeah.
But that's what the kids are doing. They just don't know how yet. And
Right.
our job is just to be those little bumpers on the bowling alley.
Exactly. So would you agree that life is basically learned through experiences?
Life's learned through experiences, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it was, who was it? Oh God, what's his name? The guy with the horse, Trigger. He's a,
Napoleon.
no. Oh my goodness, what's
Guy
his
with the
name?
horse. There's a lot.
No, the greatest cowboy poet to ever live. Anyway, you all will know who he is. And
Okay.
please write in the comments what his
Teddy
name is.
Roosevelt, probably.
No, it wasn't Teddy Roosevelt. And it wasn't Whiter, because that's the only name that's come to my head. The guy, the singing cowboy who had Trigger, you all know, put in the comments what
Tell
that
us.
is. But he said something to the effect of, he put it much more eloquently than me. Life is learned through experiences, and the best lessons are through the bad experiences, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or like something about experiences and bad experiences.
Right. Bad experiences are the best because
just
you
totally
learn
blew
the
that.
most.
I know what I'm thinking about.
We know what we're saying here.
Yeah.
Just believe us.
Well, she knows, which is,
I get it. If you don't get it, that really sucks.
then you're dumb.
Then you really should just
You need to go get on your poet cowboy.
switch the podcast at this point. All right. I think that was the last question. Well, I guess we have 2 more questions.
Okay.
But we're going
No,
quick.
you only get one.
We're going quick because we're just talking here. We're yapping. So,
I may have.
what is the one life lesson or experience that has made you the person you are today? like the main, like you're like, okay, this is like what I still think about every day. This is like
Okay.
what shapes me.
Yeah. Okay. In the moment, it's a big deal. 10 years from now, you won't even remember it.
Yeah.
The stuff that happens now that you think is so unbelievably bad, it's not.
You're going to look back and be like, dang, well,
It will.
I got through it.
Yeah, exactly. You always do.
Yeah, you're going to live the next
Each
day.
day you wake up, you can just say, well, okay, that shit happened.
Yeah, that's good. I like that because
but-
that's very true because I mean, in the past even year, probably the past year or two is probably the hardest thing I've ever had to go through. It's just like court stuff with my daughter. Hardest thing ever. And I mean, that was the advice I got a couple times, you know, you're going to look back and it's, you know, it's all going to be okay, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, that you don't believe it at the time when you hear it, but it's true.
Yeah, and the sad
One
thing
way or
is,
another, it's going to work out. It is what it
it
is.
always does.
And you're going to adjust to it or you're going to beat it, whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. That whatever is happening right now, it's only happening now.
Yeah.
And I think it was Seneca, the philosopher, who said that we suffer more in our imagination than we ever do in reality.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that is so true. We care so much about what other people think of us, or this is giving me so much anxiety. I'm sorry, it was just your turn. I mean, we all go through it.
Yeah.
I would say more than half of the parents in
Yeah.
the world go through that, and we can relate.
Yeah.
But we also know, looking back on it, that it was a moment in time.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's something that's really big for me to teach to my daughter right now is because I was always such a shy kid, like so shy. Literally, mostly, I've been shy, honestly, up until I met Logan. Logan has given me the confidence and like freedom to be actually who I am in the longest time.
Are you liking who that is? Because I'm liking her.
Oh, I love who I actually am. But I was shy literally as long as I can remember.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, my parents, no fault to my mom. I love my mom. But like,
I love your mom.
my dad's a jerk and they fought a lot. And I just remember like some of my memories are like I would hide behind the couch, in between the couch and the wall, just because no one could see me and it was quiet, safe space, you know?
Well, and if you said your folks were having problems, that tends to put kids.
Yeah, and my most
behind couches.
recent memories, you know, they were fighting like
well-
physically sometimes, and it's just like, yeah, I tried to stay out of the way, and then like elementary, middle school, high school, I would see those. I'm an Aries, right? You're supposed to be like confident, fiery, blah blah blah, which I am, but like growing up, I had all that instilled in me. And, like, I never wanted to annoy anyone. That was my biggest thing. Is, like, I don't want to annoy any grown-ups. Like, I just want to be the cool kid.
Well, you didn't want to be noticed.
I didn't want to be an inconvenience to the grown-ups because I noticed that was what made my mom usually the most upset. And I wanted to make her happy, obviously. So I stayed out of the way. And then middle school, high school, you know, school years, I would see all those other girls mostly, and I would recognize, oh, they're Aries. Like, they have their birthdays around the same time as mine, and they're, like, the most outgoing, popular girls, blah, blah, blah. And I was never super popular. I was, like, fine, but just, like, never popular. Because I didn't want to be. I was like, ew, popular girls. Like, ugh, that's so extra.
There's a girl that didn't want to be popular. Come on, it's like being the boy who didn't want to be the star of the fucking football team.
But really, I was like, my friends would be like, oh my God, we got invited to the popular table. I'm like, guys, don't go. They don't even talk to us. Why are you going now?
Well, and that, I think, is even showing a stronger strength of character than going.
Right. But that's always been my way of thinking. So I never have been super
respect
popular
that.
because I can't just go along and agree with everything.
No, I respect that, though.
Like when my mom always tells a story. I met my cousin for the first time. We at a family reunion, and we went to the park, and we were like walking to the park holding hands. We're the same age, and she looked over at me and she's like, "I love you." And I looked over at her and I was like, "I like you. I don't love you, but I like you." But like, I just met her that day, so I was just being real. Like, I don't know you.
Well, how
girl.
old were you? I mean,
I was like 4 or 5, yeah.
like a sense of emotional maturity at that age. I think
Yeah,
that's pretty
so
good.
I'm like, all right, well, that's just who I am, like, I'm not going to be fake. I'm sorry.
But I think that that's a great thing, and being like you said, don't go to the popular table because they just because they invited you.
Right.
I agree with that. I mean, to a point. I mean,
You want to take those opportunities,
You
whatever.
want to. Well, not only that, but I mean, I don't want to
push you away and
I don't want to
disassociate.
abuse somebody's hospitality or whatever. But I mean, let's be honest. A lot of the times they're setting a trap.
Right. There's a
And
reason for that.
Yeah, they're setting a trap.
Yeah, so I was smart.
No, staying true until you know.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
that's everything you've said has showed me in every word that you've said that, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. But that's something I try to instill in Devin is like, she's shy too, naturally, for some reason. She's not at home, obviously, but in anywhere else, she's super shy. And that's gotten worse as she's gotten older. That's just whatever. I was the same way, so I can't judge. I just know it just happens.
Were you an only child?
No, I had 2 other siblings.
How old were they?
I was the middle.
Middle.
Yeah, so, but Devin is the only child. She's super shy, but she's getting better and better. We put her in dance. She's interacting with everyone. Kindergarten has really helped. Daycare helped. But she still has her moments, and she's like, I didn't want to dance today at PE. I told the teacher my tummy hurt because I didn't want to dance in front of Joseph, her best friend. And I'm like, girl, come on. We don't need to be shy in front of our best friends. Like,
She won't even dance in front of you, though.
and you know what? I told her that when I said it, I finally clicked for me for the first time. I said, you know what, Devin? You're actually drawing more attention to yourself by sitting out
By not dancing.
than just doing it like everyone else.
Yep.
No one else is thinking, oh my God, that girl looks silly dancing, because they're thinking about themselves. They're thinking about how they look. They're not thinking about you. No one's thinking about you like they think they're thinking about you.
Nobody sees the rando in the crowd, but they're going to see that one person over there
who's too shy to do it and is
not
sitting
doing their
out.
thing.
Exactly. So that's what I just realized at 8 years old. But I'm glad I got to tell my 6-year-old that now.
Cheers. Here's to good parenting.
Yeah, it's hard, but like I said, I think
And I do have to say, I am very proud of you for having your father-in-law on the podcast.
Why is that?
Well, I don't think a lot of people would have been brave enough to do it.
Why?
Be,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
One, I don't
They're
know.
not that close with their father-in-law, probably.
Exactly. I don't know that. Well, okay.
Or like.
I have very little experience with the daughters-in-law thing, so I don't know.
Well, I'm just easily get alongable.
Well, it's true.
You know?
It's true. You're a very approachable person.
That's what's proven. People come
you
up to me at the grocery store for no reason at all, and I'm like, get
Well, yeah,
away.
but the people who come up to me at the grocery store either want to sell me Girl Scout cookies or they want money.
No, they just talk to me about everything. They're like, hey, is this cheese good? I'm like, bro, I don't.
Hey, but if there's a face that says, I know my cheese,
That's probably mine.
that's the one.
This is the one. I do know my cheeses. Hi guys, that was actually the end of the podcast. It was very long. We did a lot of yapping. The ending did get cut off a bit, but you know what? We had enough. We had enough anyways. So that's the end. We didn't have like an exact teaching topic, but we learned a lot, did we not? We learned so many things. And we had one Ask Abby question about like, what do I do with leftover potato chip bags? Like, cause you have so many of them or something. And, I would say get a countertop compost. That's what I want to do. So I'm going to do some research. I'll get back to you on the next episode. We're going to all learn how to do our own countertop compost. There we go. Problem solved. Have a great rest of your weekend, and thank you so much for watching. Love you.